Hey everyone, Katarina can make some really cool plays, so let's catch you up to speed with everything you need to know in a short guide that you could watch even during Champion Select. Katarina is a typical snowball mid lane assassin. Great roaming, good early and mid game, mobile, can outplay pretty much anyone and just 1v9 a game. She is pretty high risk though. You've got a weaker late game, you're weak when you're behind, plus you're very vulnerable if the enemy has a lot of crowd control on their team. For your keystone, Conqueror is going to stack up super fast and it gives you a ton of healing and damage when it is stacked, and then you get a bit more damage from your other runes, but it's mostly healing as well. For skill order, we're maxing out Q first because that's your main damage, E is going to give you a reduced cooldown, and finally it's your W. For the core items, we're looking at Nash's Tooth into Riftmaker and Sorcerer's Shoes, so aim for a blasting wand on your first bag. Nash's Tooth is first because it gives you a ton of AP, but also your daggers, your E, and your ultimate apply huge on-hit damage as well. Riftmaker has really good synergy with your kit as well. After 5 seconds, you're going to deal bonus damage and true damage, and that's going to be insane with your burst. Zhonya's then lets you outplay, and it buys time for your cooldowns. Void Staff gets you through magic resist, and Lichbane is going to increase your burst. There are a couple of other options too, so Medjai's is a really good item to pick up and try and snowball the game, and Deathcap gives you just more pure damage. So against easier lanes, you really want to try and exploit their lack of mobility. Usually you just dodge their main crowd control ability like an Ari Charm, and then they have nothing to stop you. So in this lane, you would look to blow flash early and then all in at level 6. Against harder lanes, you'll mostly be looking to outplay or just heavily roam. These lanes have ways to dodge your damage, interrupt it, or just flat out kill you first, so you kill other lanes and get a lead that way. In terms of synergy, you want junglers that really bring crowd control and can engage for you. They are the absolute best. They give opponents no time to react when you jump in. Morgana is also amazing with Katarina because she has crowd control of her own, but she can just black shield you before you dive in, and it's kind of the same thing with Yuumi attaching onto you to boost your burst. So in most lanes, you want to be looking to trade often, so you'd queue a minion to farm and then just later jump to it with your E to deal the AoE damage and chip them down. Because you're melee as well though, you'll likely get smacked around a little bit, but that's okay. You just don't try to get every CS and lose all of your health. Get what you can and prepare to fight. If you do want to fight though, don't push your lane so your opponent has further to run away. It also means you're less likely to lose CS close to the tower and also less likely to get ganked. Katarinas are especially notorious though for roaming and getting kills, right? So if that's your plan, then the main thing to worry about is not losing CS to your tower, so push first and then duck out of vision and go. When you get to teamfights, if you haven't won the game by then already, even though it might be tempting, you want to avoid going in first. You want your teammates to go in and get their attention. The easiest way to set up a fight is just going to be to throw your Q at their frontliners and wait for one of those daggers on the floor to be in a good position or on top of a carry for you to jump and then combo. When you pick up Zhonya's as well, make sure you're watching for the enemy crowd control that you'll have to dodge. This is really important even if you have to cancel your ultimate, and the easiest way to do that is to know what you have to dodge before you dive in. The most important thing to teamfighting though is just getting that first reset. After that, you'll be in a really good spot, so ideally you need to go for anybody you can one-shot easily. So last up, we have a couple of tips. Now this might sound a bit obvious, but when you start playing Katarina, you want to make sure that you use your W before pressing R. It actually adds a lot more damage than you think. Also remember, you can E to things like plants in the jungle, even things like Thresh's Lantern or Jarvan's Flag. It's not just allies. Roaming is super important on Katarina, so when you're roaming, if you don't know if it's warded mid lane, you can pay attention to the enemy laner and whether they move and back out, but also the lane that you left as well. If the enemy mid laner follows you or the enemy laner that you're running to backs away, then that will save you from wasting a ton of time roaming to a lane that they already know about. Hopefully now you can get a few more resets with this short guide to Katarina. Good luck on the Rift.